Our episode begins with Alessia lying exhausted on the bed, with Prince Set beside her. Then Hikami appears and questions him about his purpose for being with the princess at such an hour. She explains that her wound has become infected, causing a fever, but there's no need for concern, although it will leave a scar. Prince Set tells her to shut up, saying he didn't ask her, adding, "You're rude and insolent. Haven't you been taught to bow to royalty?" Hikami apologizes and informs him that she's going to change the princess's bandages. Prince Set then asks her if she's from Lindorum or Starbia, then looks at Alessia and says that when the princess's eyes are closed, she looks like a small, sweet creature, but she's not an ordinary princess. Hikami explains that the princess was raised within the walls of the Starry Palace since childhood and knows little about the world's ways, making her a bit reckless. Prince Set tells her to take care of Alessia and leaves. The scene then shifts to Alicia as she awakens, upset. Hikami enters the room and tells her to calm down since her wound hasn't healed fully. Alicia insists she's fine and wants to go see Prince Set immediately. But Hikami tells her that he's not here. He left for a purification mission because the other two potential brides fled to their homelands. So many people will die as a result. The scene shifts outside, where we see Anne telling Alessia that every princess who came here to marry Prince Set suffered emotionally, and everyone felt pity for them, unable to bear watching their pain. She explains that one princess who died even raised a dagger against Prince Set, leading to her death, and she strongly warns Alessia not to do anything that might anger him. Then Alicia sees the corrupt guard captain harassing a girl, while the other guards pretend not to notice because they're afraid of him since he's a nobleman. Alicia contemplates how to save the girl, then approaches the captain and yells loudly, "The wound Prince Set inflicted on me hurts terribly." She grabs the girl and asks her to take her to her room, saying she'll die immediately if she doesn't go, thereby saving the girl from the corrupt captain. We then see Alicia with Hikami, telling her that she had no other solution. The captain seemed dangerous. Hikami warns her to be more careful, explaining that if she upsets Prince Set, he'll kill her. Alicia replies that she doesn't think Prince Set is a murderer. Maybe he only kills those who try to kill him, like the girl who raised a dagger against him. She also reveals that she wants to defeat him, surprising Hikami with Alicia's bravery despite knowing Prince Set's nature. Hikami recalls a conversation with the old king where he entrusted her with discovering the truth. Returning to the present, Alicia asks about the importance of foreign princesses in the castle, but Hikami avoids the question, saying she needs to teach her how to defend herself. The scene then shifts to Alicia and her friend Anne as they exchange clothes. Anne asks her, "What do you intend to do, my princess?" Alicia replies that she'll kill two birds with one stone. Finally, we see the corrupt captain hitting one of the guards before leaving. The guard captain sees Princess Alicia on his way and remarks, "I haven't seen this maid before." Then he notices her holding a feather, and he rushes toward her, saying, "Touching Prince Set's belongings is a serious crime." He grabs her arm, warning that he will punish her severely. She responds, "Let go of me, you brute." When he looks at her closely, he realizes it's Alicia, and it seems she has devised a cunning plan. She begins to shout, "Help, help, this brute attacked the princess." People gather around them and he tries to explain that it was just a mistake, but she points out the visible bruise he left. She reminds him, "Didn't you say that touching Prince Set's belongings is a serious crime? Well, I am one of Prince Set's possessions, so you should be punished." Enraged, the guard captain retorts, "You're just a princess of a small country." But Alicia, full of spirit, responds, "Is a guard captain higher in rank than a princess, you fool?" Furious, he insults her and rushes to strike her, but she easily dodges thanks to her friend's training. Her friend advises her to focus on specific points, as everyone shares certain weaknesses. Even with her light frame, hitting precise points can inflict serious pain. Alicia follows this advice and strikes the captain hard, knocking him to the ground, then orders the guards to throw him in the dungeon. The guards discuss what Prince Set will say when he returns, but Alicia reassures them, "Don't worry. This is for the best. We've exposed the captain's corruption. His rightful place is in prison. Make sure to inform Prince Set about all of this." The people are surprised by her words, thinking she might be different from the other princesses. They gather around her, seemingly drawn to her charisma. Stable 1. After about 10 days, Prince Set finally returns and asks if anything unusual happened during his absence, noticing a different atmosphere in the castle. An official whispers in his ear about what Alicia did with the guard captain. Soon, Prince Set encounters Alicia walking and questions her about her actions, saying, "You used my name to imprison a man. Do you think you're the ruler of this castle?" So she responds, "It was necessary because he was bothering everyone. It's your fault for allowing him to act however he pleased." Furious, Prince Set tells her, "I'll cut you to the bone this time and end your life." Alicia keeps her composure and moves the dagger away, telling him, "You won't do that, because I'm not here to harm you." At that moment, Nina the parrot arrives, playfully interacting with Alicia and showing a fondness for her. Prince Set then says, "I'll appoint you to take care of Nina. I'll keep you close as well. You're free to refuse if you want," but she dismisses his offer. Nina the parrot constantly calls her foolish, which annoys her, so she brings the seeds he loves to eat and eats them herself, making him furious as he pecks her head with his beak. She tearfully tells him she was only joking and didn't actually eat them. Prince Set arrives at that moment, and Alicia asks him to take his parrot away. He sits on the couch and she drapes a cover over him to keep him warm, jokingly remarking that she's a very understanding queen. He responds that she's merely a servant here. Alicia reflects to herself that she came to become queen and protect Fortuna, but Set seems to view queens only as tools to justify his conquests. She had hoped to change him, but it seems she couldn't. Later, Prince Set asks her to leave, and she agrees but reminds him she'll return because she's responsible for his parrot. He then tells her to prepare herself, as they'll be going to Galgada for a while. Alicia tells the maids about Set's plans, and they're thrilled for her, as no one has ever been invited to Galgada before. She admits to them that she still hasn't won over the prince. Hikami tells her the wedding is in spring, and if you're invited now, they may be curious to see you, since they've received different reports about you. One of the maids remarks that Hikami's words always have hidden meanings. Hikami also mentions that the guard captain's replacement could be a pivotal change for Alicia, as family approval is essential for marriage. Alicia is overjoyed, realizing it will be easier to protect Fortuna if his family loves her. After that, we see a guard talking to a servant, mentioning that he's heard the king of Galgada is a strict leader, having expanded the kingdom and led his people fiercely. The servant replies that she knows him. He's Azo's grandfather. But she adds that Prince Set must be special, as he has 2 older brothers, yet he is the one who will inherit the throne. The guard responds that only those who serve Prince Set know him best. We then see Alicia with another guard, who tells her that they can't discuss this subject any further. Alicia returns to Prince Set and excitedly tells him she plans to go straight to the source. She's eager to go back to Galgada and looks forward to meeting his siblings and the king. Set, however, warns her not to use the parrot as an excuse to speak with him, asking if she thinks this is a strong opportunity to win their favor. He adds that if she has hopes, she shouldn't, as they are not the type she imagines. She replies confidently, telling him not to worry. Both her father and her grandfather are very unusual individuals, and her real interest is getting to know him better by meeting his family. She wants to become closer to him as his future queen. Set then tells her he knows she was raised as a priestess despite being a princess, and that she was suddenly sent here for marriage, essentially as a hostage for her country's benefit. He coldly advises her not to complain when her future husband treats her indifferently, and to continue serving her country without resentment or worry. Alicia feels discouraged, finding him difficult to understand. And she says to herself that it wasn't loyalty, it was her own choice. At that moment, Set realizes she is fearless, compassionate, and untarnished. These are the things he dislikes most about this world. Nina the parrot suddenly scolds him for avoiding love, shouting, "You're so foolish. You haven't even fallen in love with anyone else before." Nina then regrets her reaction, feeling sadder than angry or frustrated. The next day, Anne remarks that it will take 10 days to reach Galgada, noticing that Nina seems tired and downhearted. Nina denies it, claiming she's very happy. Hikami arrives, cautioning Nina to watch her steps since the ground is muddy from yesterday's heavy rain. They'll soon be leaving, but must take an alternate route due to a landslide on the usual road. Nina silently feels relieved to have her own carriage, her mind clouded like the gloomy sky. As they travel and the rain pours, Nina becomes anxious. Suddenly, her carriage slips, skidding and sliding across the ground. When she wakes up, she realizes, "I've slid all the way here. I'm so lucky." She searches clumsily for her parrot but can't find him, only spotting him flying far off in the sky. She wanders everywhere, exhausted, complaining, "My dress is covered in mud. Hikami will be furious." She wonders if Anne is worried and feels pain in her shoulder, questioning whether she made a mistake, feeling her body grow heavy. She collapses, admitting, "I thought I could be a queen." Nina begins looking around, trying to find her way, but realizes no one is coming to rescue her since she isn't truly a princess. She fears she might die here anonymously, longing to return to Fortuna and go back home. Just then, Nina senses something approaching. A creature with golden eyes appears. A tiger. Terrified, she calls out for Atso. And this is where today's episode ends. Stay tuned for the upcoming episodes, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to get all the latest updates.